Okay, this question is coming from section 2.8, and it's a question on how to find the linear regression of a set of data using a table. And we're going to use our Inspire graphing calculator to do this. The table at the right shows the mid-year July 1st population of a country in millions for the years 2001 through 2008. And X is the number of years since July 1st of 2000. That is a key word there, since. Because over here in our table, our first year in our table is 2001. And so since it's been 1 year since July 1st of 2000, we're going to use 1 for year 1, 2 for year 2, 2002, 3 for 2003, all the way down to 8 here for 2008. And so my X values are going to be my years, and my Y values are going to be my population in millions. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my graphing calculator, and I need to get to where I'm going to input the data. So I'm going to hit my home key, right, just the on key right here at the house on it, and I'm going to use the spreadsheet key on my calculator, which is this little green one over here, the fourth one over. So I'm going to click on that, and it should bring up like a spreadsheet. And so in column A, I'm going to put in my X values, and that will be my years. And in column B, I'm going to put my Y values, and that will be my population. So I just have to name those whatever you want to name them. So in my years, I'm going to put in the numbers from 1 to 8. So I'm just going to quickly type those in. And in my population, I'm going to type in my population that I have. And in 2001, my population was 284.7 million. In 2002, it was 287.2 million. In 2003, 291.1 million. In 2004, 294.9 million. In 2005, 297.1 million. In 2006, 299.8 million. In 2007, 302.1 million. And in 2008, 305.9 million. Once I get my data typed in, I can go back to the graphing calculator and I can look at the menu button here. And there's lots of different things that I can perform. So if I just hold these arrows down as I go through this, one thing that I could do is under data is I could, if I wanted to, make a quick graph to see what the data looks like. For this particular problem, it didn't ask me to graph it right away, so I really wouldn't have to graph it. So I'm going to skip over that, and I'm going to go to the statistics column, and this problem is asking me to find linear regression. And linear regression is found under stat calculations, and it's number 3 that we're going to use here. So stat calculations, linear regression, number 3. Notice that it says mx plus b there. And I'm going to go ahead and it pulls up this screen right here. So I need to tell the calculator where my data is. So my X data was my years. So if I hold down that arrow, I'm going to choose years. And my Y data was population. So if I hold down that arrow and I'm going to choose population, that allows the calculator to know where my data is stored. So if I hit OK, what happens here is if I go over to the table here, and in column C here, it tells me what each one of these things in column D stands for. So for me, the third one down here is M, and M is slope. So my slope is 2.9905 if I round it. And I think this problem wanted me to round to the nearest thousand, so I'm going to leave it as 2.990. And my y-intercept, which is B, is 281.893. And if I just kind of maybe, that might cause an issue, but if I look down here, that is rounded to the nearest thousandth, because right down here it says 281.892857, and in Math Excel it gets pretty particular about the rounding, and I think this problem wanted to round it to the nearest thousandth, so we're going to use the 281.893. So let's go back to the problem and let's see how this works out. So my slope is 2.990, I think we're going to use, X plus, and my y-intercept was 281.893, and we'll see if it counts this right. So we got that right. So if I hit OK here, it says the next thing, part of the question says use the model to predict when the population of the country will reach 315 million. So if that is my y. So if I go back to my graph here, I want to know where on my data here 315 million will be my population. So I know it's going to be more than the year 2008 because in 2008 it was 305.9 million. So what I maybe want to do is actually look at a graph this time. So I'm going to go back to menu and I'm going to go to data and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick graph. So I'm going to do a quick graph and I need to go ahead and this graph to me right here doesn't mean anything because I haven't set my X and Y axis. So I'm going to click down here and click on the X-axis, and remember my X-axis was years, so I'm going to make that years, and I'm going to click up here to the Y-axis, and the Y-axis was population. I'm going to make that population. So now you see I have all my data points that I have here. Now what I'm going to do then is if I go back to menu and I analyze this and I go to, let me show you how I got there, went back to menu and went to analyze and went down here to regression. And another way to do this is if I show linear here, it draws my line of best fit. Now notice that this label right here, that is my same regression equation that I got using the other method that I showed you. But what I can do here is if I can click on this line, I can actually follow this line up until I get to 315 million. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out exactly how many years it's going to take for my population to be 315 million. The other way that I could do this that might make a little bit more sense to you is we could take this regression equation and we could set it equal to 315 million. So if I do that, I'm going to set, let me just open up a Word document here and show you. Or here I can open up a notebook document and show you how to do this. Well, this will just take a second. It's taking a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to. We'll see here if it opens up pretty soon. Otherwise we'll go a different route. Oh, here it comes. Okay. Remember, my equation was y equals 2.99x plus 281.893. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute 315 in for y. So 315 equals 2.99x plus 281.893. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 315 minus 281.893. So 315 minus 281.893 gives me 33.107 equals 2.99x. And then I'm going to simply divide. So I'm going to divide by 2.99. And so 11.07257 equals x. So that means that approximately 11 years after July 1st of 2000, the population will reach 315 million. So my year would be about 2011. So if I go back to the problem, it says use the model to predict when the population of the country will reach 315 million. Now, we probably noticed, I didn't notice this the first time, but all of these years are 2011. So they're saying April 19th, March 22nd, November 1st, July 27th. I'm going to guess July 27th because it's the closest here, and we'll see how it happens. Okay?